Last January, the Dallas Police Department initiated a new record-keeping report system. It is a very detailed system, often complicated, and it has been sounder in theory than it is proven in practice. Many rank-and-file officers would tell you the system has consumed many thousands of man-hours and time which otherwise could have been spent in Dallas's war against crime.
A friend of mine, which is a minister's wife, naturally takes in all strays and orphans and tries to help. So there was a dope addict came to her house, and she wanted to help naturally. We both promised to help her. She wouldn't have to go to a hospital or we'd do everything we could to keep her out, of jail, on provision that she'd tell everything she knew to the police department. She agreed to do this, was anxious to help, to keep any other human from getting hooked the way she was. So we called for R.D. Willson of the Dallas Narcotics Division. He wasn't in, so we told the story to someone else in the office, and he said, we'll have someone out there within an hour to talk to her. Well, all day passed, and nobody came. The next day, the girl was getting in pretty bad shape. She was beating her fists against the wall, crying, begging for a shot or a fix. So in desperation, we called back. The Dallas police explained that all their detectives, the narcotics squad, had been tied up in court, and they did not have anyone to send out.
How long ago was it when you first called the Dallas Police Department in connection with this case?
Approximately 3 weeks ago.
Have you heard from them since?
Not one word.
Innovations are on the way. A computerized dispatching system is being installed in January, and the department is making efforts to modernize its techniques. But still, it's the man on the beat who will have to stem the flow of crime in Dallas. And the fact of the matter is, the man on the beat today in Dallas feels overworked, underpaid, and he's unhappy. This is Tommy Ayres reporting for Channel 8 News.
We're supposed to be a joint sponsor with the city of Dallas, and I'd like to know exactly what that constitutes. I want to know how long that goes or how long it continues. I want to know what happens if the Commissioner's Court should decide to rescind that action. I've studied the Organizing Community Actions pamphlet, which is put out by the OEO, and I do not find anything in here that covers these questions, and so figure that the best place to get the answers are from the people themselves.
Is the Commissioner's Court thinking about rescinding their action?
I do not know. I'm simply trying to make up my own mind of whether or not to try to continue on the board wearing two hats, one as a part of the governing body over here sponsoring and one as a board member over here. These answers will help me, I think, in making that decision.
Well, a juvenile right now receives the treatment the same as any other prisoner, except our juvenile department have men all day in the supervisory capacity in the cells every day in the week, with the exception of possibly maybe on weekends. Now, doing time in a jail is hard, and we have a hard jail. We can't change this the way it was built. It was built for this. Now, if juveniles are going to be put in here, it's hard time. But it will alleviate a situation which we have now in the overcrowding of our jail. We have approximately an area of 4 to 5 tanks, as we call them, with 18 or so people, built for 18 or so people, which we keep for juveniles because of the segregation of the boys and the girls and the different ages, which we wouldn't have to have near as many, and we could use these very, very nicely today. We are over the 440 mark this morning, and our jail is built for 411.
As of today, there are 1,534 policemen employed by the city of Dallas. This is 96 men below authorized strength. It's also several hundred men below the number recommended by the International Association of Police Chiefs. Of these more than 1,500 men, only about 900 will actually work in the field. Divide them over 3 shifts, subtract vacation time, sick leave, and days off, and that spreads the thin blue line in Dallas's war on crime awfully thin. This man is a veteran police officer, a man experienced in enforcement of the law, but his job consists of riding a 3-wheel cycle and writing parking tickets. It's not a very challenging job. In many cities, it is performed by women. Many policemen in the department would like to see the job, in fact, turned over to a civilian force under the jurisdiction of the police department. They argue that the manpower problem has progressed beyond the point Dallas's police department can afford a force of 200-pound pistol-packing meter maids. City Manager Scott McDonald says the 3-wheel corps is necessary, that their presence reassures downtown merchants. But while downtown merchants might be reassured, suburban robberies and thefts have soared during the past year. I talked to City Manager Scott McDonald about some of his manpower problems. You are some 100 men below authorized strength at this time. What are the problems in finding men and finding the right men to become policemen?
The standards are pretty high for police officers and should be, because the police officer is out there by himself to make decisions. He has to go through a pretty intensive training program, and out of the applications that are made, a fairly small percentage of men are accepted, but we feel that those standards should be kept high. I think that the higher pay levels, they are beginning to pay off. As we fill the quotas, it has been the policy of the council to provide additional authorized manpower, and for that reason we are always short of the authorized manpower.
Tonight at 10, we're going to look at what sometimes is referred to as the paper jungle, a new reporting system, good in theory, but often not in practice. I have found that on occasion, from the time a patrolman makes out his report on the scene until that report winds its way through the paper jungle into the hands of the detective who will investigate the offense, it may be as much as 2 days. And I have found that some tips have not been followed up by police, and on occasion, reported crimes have not been investigated. This is Tommy Ayres reporting for Channel 8 News.